AfroTales Podcast is a part of the Connected Podcast Network.
Well, hello there. I'm Aman Mazingo, your storyteller, and this is Season 2 of the AfroTales Podcast, where we journey through the Americas and the Caribbean to explore the tales that grew from its African diaspora. I want to thank Art by Chalet for the beautiful episode art, and especially thank you for joining us on today's adventure.
Chef. Yes, Glio. Don't you love how we get to share our stories and recipes? Yes, I enjoy it greatly. Do you know what makes it possible for everyone to hear us? Yes, Glio. Our voices, obviously. True, but it's also Anchor, a hosting platform that distributes the podcast to places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and others. Oh, yes. And isn't everything needed to make a podcast in one place? That's correct. And the best thing of all, Chef, it's free. Free, you say? Free. And all I had to do is download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. So, you just had to download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Yep. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm and do what we're doing now. Fantastic, Grio. Simply fantastic. I know, Chef. I know.
Tiger becomes a riding horse. Once upon a time, long before now, Anansi and Tiger used to go out romancing those girls together. But as things will happen, one day they found they were both courting the same young lady, and they got very jealous of each other. So you know Anansi, he went to this young lady's yard and started in on his boasting, claiming that Tiger was nothing better than his father's old riding horse. Of course, it wasn't any time before Tiger came by to call upon this girl, and he thought was his sweetheart. But the young lady said to him, "Go on now. How can you just come around courting when I heard that you was nothing more than an old riding horse?" "What do you mean by that?" asked the tiger. "Who is telling you this? It looks like somebody has been telling stories about me, and they have filled your ears with big lies, ma'am. But I tell you what I will do. I'll go straight to my friend Anansi, and he'll tell you that all of this is just something somebody is stirring up. I never have been his father's old jackass riding horse." So the lady told him to get going. So Tiger took up his walking stick and put his pipe in his cheek, and walking out as respectably as he can, he went straight to Anansi's yard. Now, he found Anansi lying there in his bed moaning with fever. So he lifted the latch and called out, "Bruh Anansi, Bruh Anansi." Anansi heard him very well, but he just said so soft and sickly, "Bruh Tiger, you called me?" He knew that Bruh Tiger was going to be mad at him, for what he said. Bruh Tiger said, "Yes, I called you. I came right over to your house because someone has been telling lies about me, and I wanted to find out if it was you. I want to hear from your own mouth. If you said those things, I'm going to make you prove it." "Oh," Anansi groaned. "Can't you see I have a fever? My stomach is hurting me bad. I have just been to the doctor and taken some of his medicine.
Is that so? Said Tiger. I don't believe you.
I just ate 2 pills, bruh Tiger. So how can you think I could even get up and go to any lady's yard to prove anything tonight?
I don't want to have an argument with you, brother, replied Tiger. But I think you better come with me anyhow to tell the young lady tonight that I am not your father's old jackass riding horse.
Oh, Lord,
cried Anansi.
This pain in my breast just won't let me be. It's burning so bad. But if you insist, I could try to go with you to see the lady. Oh, but I feel so sick.
Then Tiger said, well, since you're so sick, maybe I could help you get there. So Bruh Anansi says,
well, just lift me up a little to see how I feel.
So Tiger lifted him, and Anansi said,
oh, Lord, I'm feeling dizzy.
So Tiger said, just grab on here, on my neck, and don't worry. I will carry you on my back.
Wait a minute then, brother. I will get out of bed here and help out.
But he fell back and cried out,
oh, Lord, I just can't get up at all. I beg you, brother, come lift me up again.
So Tiger raised him up again, and again Anansi fell back. Now Tiger didn't know what to do. Bruh Anansi looked up and said,
well, why don't you get that saddle up there in the rafters and put it on? I could maybe grab hold of that and you could carry me.
So he went to the rafters and took down Bruh Anansi's saddle. Bruh Anansi said,
now, oh Lord, now, just put it on your back, brother. I can sit down soft.
Then Anansi got up in his saddle and got his bridle and reins. Hey, said Tiger, what are you going to do with that? Bruh Anansi said,
if you just put that through your mouth, brother, and then I can tell if you are starting to go too fast. I'm going to fall off.
All right then, said Bruh Tiger. Put it on. So Anansi took his horsewhip. Hey, Bruh Tiger said, what are you going to do with that?
If a fly comes on your ear or back, brother, I will be able to take this whip and lick it off.
Tiger said, well, okay. So Anansi put on his spurs. Hey, said Tiger. Now, what are you going to do with those?
If a fly's on your side, brother, I can brush them away with my spurs. Oh, Lord, and make them fly away.
Okay, never mind then, said Tiger. Put them on. Then Anansi moaned.
Well, Bruh Tiger, if you stoop down, I can get on.
And that way Anansi mounted on his back, and Tiger then began to walk off. As he went along, Anansi pulled him up with the bridle.
Stop, brother. Take your time, will you? My head is hurting so.
So Tiger went on about a mile or so, and after a little while, Anansi took his whip and gave Tiger a lick on the ear. Hey, Tiger said, what was that for?
Well, there was a stupid fly on your ear. Shoe fly.
All right, brother, Tiger said. But next time, don't hit so hard. Tiger went on for another mile or so, and Anansi struck his spur into his side. Tiger jumped and cried out, "Wait a minute! What are you doing?" "Those bothersome flies, brother. They are biting your side hard." Then Tiger went on for another half mile, till he came to the lady's yard. Now the lady's house had 2 doors, a front one and a back one. Just as they came to the entrance of the yard, Anansi rose up in the saddle like a jockey running a race in the Kingston race course. And he took out his whip and he lashed Tiger hard. "Hey!" Tiger cried. "You licked too hard." But Anansi lashed him more and more until Tiger really started to run. Then Anansi took his spurs and stuck them into Tiger's side, and he made him run right up to the lady's door's mouth. Then Anansi took off his hat and waved it above his head and said to the lady who was standing at the door, "Good morning, mistress. Didn't I tell you? The truth of that tiger is nothing more than my father's old riding horse." He leaped off Tiger and went into the lady's house, and Tiger was so embarrassed that he galloped off and was never heard from anymore. The end.
Wow. So, what do you say when a tiger gets turned into a riding horse by a spider? What does it say about Anansi that he can turn a tiger into a riding horse? Just that's crazy, right? I like this story though. Like, this small spider, this small insignificant little creature was able to turn this massive, overpowering, loud animal into its servant. And it just goes to show that size does not matter. It just doesn't. You can be, the smallest person in the world and still be able to use your intellect and beat the biggest person in the world. We do it all the time in life, where you see the little guy, or the person that is thought to be insignificant or weaker or whatever, use their smarts, their determination, and beat the big guy. And that's what I saw here, That's what I got from this story, really. But I also got, coming from the big guy's side, don't underestimate somebody. And don't let somebody turn you into something that you're not. That's what Tiger did, right? He let Anansi turn him into something that he is not. He went over there mad. He went over there for justice, because he was besmirching his name, and he didn't get that. He let Anansi trick him into proving the lies correct. And don't we know people like that too? Don't we know people that do that very thing? Let somebody prove a lie about them. We know that is basically a stereotype. Something they saw about 1 or 2 people in your group, and they say everybody in the group is like that, or everybody in the group does that. And if you allow that to be, if you do those things, and just because it said that you do those things, that's what you're allowing to happen. I remember I met somebody one time, another black person, and they're like, "I don't like chicken." And at first, it was funny to me because I'm sitting there like, you don't like chicken? They're like, no, I don't like chicken. And I was just like, the stereotype. All black people love chicken. But this one doesn't. They don't fit into that stereotype. They don't fit into that lie about black people. So, you know, and every group, every single group, it doesn't matter who it is, has a stereotype that's been put on it by another group or even by its own group. Men have stereotypes that have been put on us by women. Women have stereotypes that have been put on them by men. You know, boys and girls, tall people, short people. It doesn't matter what you are. I'm pretty sure you can think of a stereotype, a lie that's been put on you, and that's not necessarily true. You know, and we shouldn't allow it to be true. So don't do that. So last week I did something special for you guys. I put in a little bonus piece. Was called AfroTales Recipe of the Week. If you guys liked that and you guys want it more often, please let me know. Email me at AfroTalesPodcast at yahoo.com. Leave a review. Whatever kind of recipes you want to hear. There'll be one for this week also. Coming up right after this, there'll be another recipe of the week. And I really think I want to do recipes from wherever the story comes from. So like this story comes from Jamaica, so the recipe will be a Jamaican recipe. So when I go to Haiti, when I go to Cuba, when I go to, you know, Suriname, you know, anywhere I go, I will hopefully be able to find a good recipe, an interesting dish, and hopefully maybe even something that pertains to the story, which would be awesome, right? But I'll be trying some of these recipes out myself, so I will definitely come back on here one of these times. I'll let you know how different recipes have worked out, how I have liked them, and if you know the recipes that are that I do, and you've eaten the dish, please let me know. Hit me on Twitter at AfroTalesCast. Hit me on Facebook, AfroTalesPodcast. Hit me on wherever and let me know what you know about these dishes or just what you like about the story. I mean, if you guys want to say something, if I'm doing something wrong that you like, that you don't like, or if I'm doing something right that you do like, let me know. You know, whatever. But, okay, I'm rambling, I guess, and I don't want to do that. So, as I always say, thank you for coming on this journey with me, and have a blessed, blessed, blessed day. Your AfroTales Recipe of the Week. The Jamaican Spice Bun. Preheat oven to 350 degrees. Take 1 12-ounce bottled stout or beer, 1.5 cups of brown sugar, 3 tablespoons of butter, 1.5 cup of dried fruit, raisins, golden raisins and cranberries if you like, nutmeg, cinnamon, vanilla, rose water to taste. Try half teaspoon of each for starters. Add browning if you like. Melt all the above together on low stove for 5 to 10 minutes. Take off stove and transfer to bowl. Then add 3 cups sieved flour, 1.5 teaspoons baking powder, 1 teaspoon salt. Mix all above together. Mix well to avoid lumps. Then add 1 beaten egg. Bake at 350 for 45 to 55 minutes. Poke middle of bun with very slender knife to check if it is done. Glaze with honey if you like. That is your AfroTales Recipe of the Week.
Thank you again for your time. Thank you for supporting and sharing this podcast with your family and friends. You can always find AfroTales Podcast on Anchor, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. If you want to leave me a message or a tweet, I can be found on Twitter at AfroTalesCast, on Instagram and Facebook at AfroTalesPodcast, and now on Coffee at coffee.com/AfroTalesPodcast, where you can financially support me for the price of one small cup of coffee. However you support, I thank you and I appreciate it always. So until next time, have a great day.